Hello everyone, welcome to the Minecraft Let's Play series. It is episode 92, if you can believe it or not, and 92 episodes, huh? Oh man, yeah, about the amount of points the Dallas Mavericks have scored. Well, yeah, like in the 90s. About the amount of points the Dallas Mavericks have scored in 3 of the 4 games of the finals that have been played. Really screwing up everything, man, because I really wanted to just record an episode. Like, I'm recording this on Saturday. Yeah, I'm recording this on Saturday night, the 15th. The day after the 14th. And the 14th was when Game 4 happened. And I really wanted to record an episode of this series after that, because I thought that, certain things were gonna be won, but, whatever. What can you do about it? Yeah, can't really defend against that, I could defend against it better than freaking some Eastern European, mildly, conditioned, poorly conditioned, slightly overweight, freaking Slovenian person who's really, really good at Overwatch can. So, yeah, hopefully Brian Windhorst does not eviscerate me. God damn, dude. Oh man, I should just play the clip right now.
I thought it was perfect that Luka fell onto the ground there in an unacceptable position to put himself in with 4 minutes left with 5 fouls, and then immediately looks at the bench and says, "You better bleeping challenge it," as if it's the bench's fault that he just made a terrible play. I'm standing here in the Mavericks tunnel. Over there is the Celtics tunnel. That's where the winners are. If Luka's ever going to be a winner coming out of this tunnel here, he is going to have to use what's happened in this finals as a learning experience. His defensive performance is unacceptable. He is a hole on the court. The Celtics are attacking him. They are ahead in this series because they have attacked him defensively. And you've got a situation here where Luka is complaining about the officiating. They have begged him. They have talked with him. They have pleaded with him. He is costing his team because of how he treats the officials. He's a brilliant player. He does so many things well. They are here because of how he did. His performance in this game is unacceptable, and the reason why the Mavericks are not going to win. He's got to get over this. And the fact that he came out after the game and blamed the officials showed me he's nowhere close yet. So maybe over the summer, somebody will get to him, because nobody with the Mavericks or anybody else in his life has. And that's where the Mavericks are at this point. They're never going to get to this tunnel with the trophy if he doesn't improve those aspects of his game.
Yeah, that was freaking like goddamn. There's been people like putting like the ether beat behind it. There was someone who put the Meet the Grams beat behind it. Just like, it's just a sight to behold, man. But the series isn't over, sadly. I would think it's gonna be over on Monday, but you never know. You really never know, man. The Celtics did come back from down 0-3 to force a Game 7 against the Heat last year. So, they know what it's like to freaking come back from down 0-3. But I would hope the freaking series ends, because, why would I want to talk about the NBA, like, well into June, man? Well, if I want to talk about the NBA in June, it has to be about free agency and, trades and freaking off-season drama, because, I don't know, the NBA is a soap opera for men. But it turns out that the WNBA is also a soap opera for men. It really is. Oh man. Oh gee, did I miss anything on that regard? Oh wow. I missed so many freaking things, man. Like as each team kept happening, I was like, with Caitlin Clark, I was just like, okay, I'll talk about it in the next episode, And then another thing happened. I'm like, okay, another thing to talk about. And then another thing happened, and it's like, okay, well, I guess just too much. And it's now gotten to the point where it's like, is it even interesting to talk about anymore? It's like, nah, probably not, man. I don't know. Do we need more freaking men to talk about this issue? It's like, no. And as a man, I guess I want to talk about it a little bit, but not in the way other people have been talking about it. But I don't know. There's just been so much, man. There's just been so much. I guess, yeah, Caitlin Clark has been a lightning rod, as some people have described her, of just freaking discourse and controversy. Not, anything she says or does is controversial, but, a little bit. But yeah, I guess I'll get to that in a tiny a bit later regarding other players, but I don't know, man. Yeah, do I need to do a rundown of everything that has happened surrounding her or about her in like the recent like couple weeks? Yeah. I don't know. I really should, since it's summertime, just get these out, like, you know, more frequently than just every 2 weeks. But I don't know. Like, I just do these when the time feels right. Like, when I feel like I've compiled enough stuff, you know, to fill an episode. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, okay. If you want to go about it chronologically, in January of 2002, Caitlin Clark was born somewhere in Iowa, I think. The first time she picked up a basketball, I wonder when that was. You know, she said she played like a bunch of different sports. Yeah, she played soccer, so she could have been a soccer player. You know, I would assume maybe she played softball or something. You know, also she played football with her brothers. It's like, look, you know, yeah, good, yeah, I guess. She somehow stumbled upon basketball, and here we are in 2024, where freaking, you know, like basically just the larger central theme of this is just that, you know, the new people, the new eyeballs, quote unquote, that are talking about women's basketball, quote, talking about women's basketball, most of these people, most of these new eyeballs are just in it for one player, you know, like we don't have to freaking, you know, front about that. But, you know, I guess it also extends to, you know, people are in it for the rookie class. People are, you know, paying more attention to the WNBA now, seemingly more than ever, because of not only Caitlin Clark, but Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, you know, like those players, right? Nika Mule, Alyssa Peely, hopefully, you know, like they're paying more attention because of those players. Yeah, Rickea Jackson, Camila Cardoso, you know, like the rookies that most, like a bunch of people were exposed to during the women's tournament, like in the past couple years. So, man, it's basically like with these new eyeballs comes new opinions, and a lot of these new opinions that have been said, most of which are by men, have not been, you know, that educated, have not been that, you know, informed. But like that's the thing, like, yeah, like I listen to a lot of stuff, you know, because I don't really watch TV shows anymore. I want to watch freaking more freaking shows, but you know, I don't know. And maybe I need to watch The Bear. I don't know. I could just talk about freaking, was it Io Edebiri and freaking, who's the guy? Oh God, not Jamie Lee Curtis. The guy, the underwear guy. I don't even want to type his name up. Yeah, whatever. Jeremy Allen White. Yeah, there you go. I could be talking about that, but instead I'm talking about frickin' Stephen A. Smith going at Monica McNutt. It's like, Monica's like, respectfully, Stephen A., you could have been talking about, you know, women's basketball 3 years ago if you wanted to. Then Stephen A.'s like, wow. Really? Like you're gonna go at me like that? And then he has his own freaking personal freaking show that he does on YouTube. Then he's like, I was the one who introduced people to Monica McNutt. It's like, okay. All right, man. All right. Now, you know, she's been, you know, the Knicks radio commentator for, you know, a few years. You know, most people, you know, like she was a player for Georgetown, but it's like, no. I'm the one who freaking put her on the map. It's like, okay, that's just one of the things, man. I don't know. I guess it's better if I just like go like random, like at a bunch of things, you know. Man, like, you know, I guess another central team is like, you know, should freaking Caitlin Clark as a rookie be, you know, hazed, you know, by certain players, like giving her hard fouls, and like is it fair or deserving of her when freaking in the opinions of these freaking new eyeballs, I said, where they're like, she's the reason freaking the whole league is gonna make a lot more money in the future, like you should protect her at all costs. It's like, yeah, I don't know, like that, yeah, like I don't need to state the problems with freaking that kind of opinion, that kind of mindset, right? It's like, it's just extremely disrespectful to freaking the women who freaking actually like built the league, and freaking the women who had like long careers, you know? It's just really disrespectful and kind of dismissive of that, where it's like, no one has cared about the WNBA until freaking this you know, this players came in. It's like, come on, man, like really, you have to do that? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like maybe it's your fault, man. Maybe it's your fault, you know, like mine included, right? It's like didn't watch freaking the WNBA. I haven't been the utmost expert, but you know, that's the whole thing. Like, I feel like just showing a level of respect would be, you know, not freaking like being overly dismissive of the veterans already there, and not being like, you know, overly freaking just only about wanting to watch Caitlin Clark, not freaking wanting to watch the WNBA for just one player, you know? Because yeah, that's the whole thing of like, the men mostly are saying like, hey, like you can't blame us if freaking the discussion gets toxic, because at least people are talking about it, right? It's like, well, I guess, sure, if you want to put it that way, but it's like, I mean, you know, the bar for like, can we have smarter discussion? Can we have smarter freaking conversations around this? It's like, you know, where, you know, Monica McNutt and people like her, Shanae Gumake, who's a player until recently, and then Andrea Carter, you know, like, you know, actual women who actually know this freaking shit and actually can talk about it in a very intelligent and articulate freaking informed way, because they know it. They actually know it, rather than just one player, rather than just seeing freaking, you know, Kennedy Carter just hard foul her and just be like, oh god, she should be suspended. It's like, okay, all right, come on, man. Oh man, it's like, I don't know, it's the whole thing. It just goes against freaking what a lot of these like male freaking people believe should be the norm in like men's sports, right? It's like no one freaking, no one would be freaking really that upset over like, you know, this happening to a men's player, right? Where it's like they're getting hard fouled, you know, and like it's not getting called, right? They would just be like, you're a rookie, you that should happen, you know? I don't know. It's the whole thing. Surprisingly, you know, one of the places where the discussion wasn't that freaking bad was on Gil's Arena. Yeah, like surprisingly. I mean, really, like, I don't know, like whenever they talk about women's basketball on Gil's Arena, like it's extremely like, you know, I think like from most freaking uninformed, if you want to rank like most uninformed to like least uninformed, right? Obviously, like when they have like a woman on there, usually it would be, yeah, until recently, yeah, because Lexi Brown is playing. They had Lexi Brown on some episodes, you know, sometimes, and they have Cheryl Swoops on sometimes. Like usually when they talk about women's basketball, I would, you know, I like whenever they're on, it's like, okay, all right, the conversation is gonna be good when they talk, right? And then freaking Gil comes in, and then he just spouts whatever he freaking says, and most of the time it's just bad. But surprisingly enough, yeah, like Kenyon Martin had a freaking good response to it, right? Where he's just like, yeah, like Caitlyn should freaking learn to fend for herself, you know? Like, you know, it's, you know, like, you know, she should freaking eventually freaking, you know, maybe not fully retaliate and hard foul someone back, but just like show that she's not gonna take it easily. She's not gonna take it without resistance, which is like, you know, pretty decent opinion, you know? Like, yes, and surprisingly, like, another thing I've noticed is that, like, Rashad McCants, who usually has, like, the dumbest opinions on the show, actually freaking knows a lot more about women's basketball, like, than, like, you know, than other people, you know, than other, like, players, than other NBA players. Like, I don't know, like, he, like, knows a bunch of freaking women's players and, like, the names, and, like, he actually knows the history of the WNBA, which is, like, you know, pretty good, you know? Like, he was talking, I guess, like, he brought up to Cheryl Swoops, like who would win in a hypothetical matchup between was it like the Houston Comets, whom Cheryl Swoops was a part of, and the Las Vegas Aces. You know, it was a really nice friggin' thing. But yeah, like Gilbert Arenas probably is like okay, we know, like every time women's basketball gets brought up, it's like, okay, all right, we do not need to listen. He's just here to friggin' entertain and not much else. Oh man. Yeah, so that's like the hard foul situation, and then there's which like just got so just, I don't know, the discussion, the talking points around it, how, you know, it obviously, you know, it got expanded to, you know, race, by virtue of, you know, just it being what it was, you know, it being a black player giving a hard foul to a white player, and Caitlin Clark being white, and then like it splinters off into discussions of Caitlin Clark's fan base, and like, yeah, that's like one of the more recent kind of things that have been discussed, you know, like, I don't know, it's just such a thing, man. But yeah, I guess going off into that, yeah, have I done everything I needed to do about the hard foul conversation? What is my opinion, man? Yeah, well, I don't know, what is my opinion on whether she is a rookie is deserving of this treatment? Does she deserve this treatment? Like it's what, yeah, like I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Like I don't see anything egregious with it. Yeah, like to me, like it's just what a rookie goes through. Like I don't think there's really any reason to go up in arms about it. I think when I saw it initially, I was like, oh yeah, like why did she do it? Like Kennedy Carter really did that for no reason, didn't she? And then it, obviously, like the larger, you know, point around that is like, are other players jealous or resentful of her, of which, you know, Elle Duncan is like someone relatively new, but like she's obviously trying way harder than most men are to talk about it in a smart and educated way. And like she like is very like adamant of like, these women are not freaking resentful of her, they're not jealous, they're not bitter, it's literally just competition, you know. But it's like there's other issues at play, man. I don't know. I was recently literally listening to IndieCast and like a previous episode of it, and they were talking about it on there. I'm like, dude, this has reached everywhere, man. Everyone seemingly in America has an opinion on this, man. You just go into a random bar in friggin' Iowa, and probably people have opinions on it. Probably not good opinions, but still. I don't know. It's just something to talk about, other than like, are the Celtics Jason Tatum's or Jaylen Brown's team? You know, it's something to talk about. I do have other things to talk about other than this. I'll get to it later, but yeah. Oh man, anything to add on that part of it? The other part, her being left off the Olympic team. Do I think she should have made the Olympic team? I think I'm of the opinion that I don't think she has necessarily earned her playing on the Olympic team just yet, right? Like, there are probably players, like at least like 10 players who are more deserving of her to make it on that roster, right? And like also people are like talking about like Arike Ogunbowale being left off, you know? Yeah, which is like a thing. Like Diana Taurasi at 42 years old is still on, you know? Like, I think she probably has earned that, you know? It's a chance for her to win, what was it, 6 gold medals, you know? And then there's the whole conversation Stephen A tried to bring up of like, yeah, okay, she might not, obviously she didn't earn it with her play, but you need to freaking keep her on because of marketing, right? And it's like the whole thing that like freaking fans of women's sports are just freaking was it armchair CEOs, man? It's like they just really suddenly just care about freaking the business of it all, and like what will freaking make the WNBA most money. It's like, suddenly you freaking care. You didn't care when you didn't care in any freaking years prior, you know. But you care now. Oh wow, that's great, man. Like, again, like, I don't know, think of like buying the orange sweatshirt first before freaking even like thinking like that, you know? It's like, I don't know. Look, you know, I'll admit I have not bought the orange sweatshirt yet. I think of it sometimes. Okay. I have enough sweatshirts as it is, okay? But still, I mean, I don't know. It's just with like the mindset of just like just everyone being like, but the business opportunities, but marketing, man. It's like you have to market her. She is the reason. Caitlin Clark is the sole whole reason freaking the WNBA is gonna, make money, is gonna make him money. It's like, I don't know, man. It's like, yeah, very dismissive towards freaking everyone else. It's like, come on, man. Oh man, there's that, and then there's, I don't know. Yeah, like, I guess I don't think that she deserved to be on the roster quite yet. She's obviously gonna make it if she's still in the league, or if she hasn't quit by now because of freaking how freaking exhausting all of these conversations have become. I hope her mental health is just doing well, but goddamn, dude, please. yeah, there's that, and then there's kind of the third part of it. Yeah, the third part of it, which just came up in like the past day or two, which is, yeah, there's this player I talked about previously, right? Yeah, I talked about the not Caitlin Clark drama of Dejanay Carrington and Nalissa Smith, and I think I might have gotten a thing wrong about that. Like, I think I said that they may have broken up, but I don't think there actually is. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like from the tweets I've been reading is that like Dejanay and Nalissa are still like pretty close, but like I don't know if it's confirmed that they're dating though. Like, I don't know. Like something. I don't know. Like Dejanay Carrington and Nalissa Smith are in some like thing. Like, obviously there's friends with each other still, but I don't know. But still, it concerns Dejanay. So Caitlin Clark was asked the question, how do you feel about your name, Caitlin, being used to push agendas, like these negative agendas of like, misogyny or homophobia or racism? How do you feel about like your name being pushed by, either fans or like people who are just, the men who are just like getting into it, the Barstool Sports crowd, basically, right? I can't believe I know what that means, man. Take me back to a time when I didn't know what that means. Please, man, please take me back, but whatever. Oh man, yeah, like basically, like, she was asked a question pertaining to that, and then she just answered like, yeah, I don't think my name should be used like that. I don't really support that, obviously, and like, it's the whole thing of like, I guess the larger thing to this one, to this part of this controversy / conversation surrounding Caitlin Clark is like, like, obviously, like, you can't discount the fact that Caitlin Clark is a white girl from Iowa, right? It's like, you can't discount that, right? It's just basically like, you don't need to be a sociology, person to freaking notice like, oh, Caitlin Clark is a white girl from Iowa. Part of her appeal is that she's white. It's like, yeah, makes sense. I'm sure if Angel Reese was the one shooting freaking 30-footers, she would be just as popular as Caitlin Clark is, but like, I don't know, like, that's the thing, right? It's like, you can't really, come on, man, creepers, come on, man. You can't just discount, okay, alright, dude, I need to make it home. You can't just, discount the fact that Caitlin Clark is white, and that plays a role, race plays a role into many things in freaking society, and how we talk about freaking things in society, obviously, right? And it's like, I guess, talking more about what happened recently. God damn, dude, how the hell did I get that far away from home? Dude, do I need to, okay, alright, okay. Hey, this is like proof I still play the game sometimes, right? Okay, come on. No, man, I just need a break, man. Oh, come on, dude. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry I'm failing this hard. Oh, man. Oh, God. Yeah. There you go. There you go. I'm home. There you go. So anyway. Like, yeah, the next part of this, little storyline is that, she gave that answer. She gave basically a very, like, non-committal, if we're being honest, answer. Like, she's always been given, like, these neutral answers. Like, these, like, very, like, non-substantive answers whenever she's been pressed about these issues, Like, whenever, it's the whole thing that, like, Caitlin Clark was asked about the hard foul, and she just said, I don't think it's a basketball play, right? Like if she said anything like, if she said anything about Kennedy Carter or anything like that should have been a foul, like, yeah, Bomani Jones, like, brought it up, right? It's like, she could have sounded like a Karen in that moment, right? But she didn't, right? It just goes to show that, like, Caitlyn is, like, extremely media trained and gives, like, extremely freaking manicured answers, right? She doesn't say anything that would potentially rock the boat. Like, she's never had any comment where the media's taken it and been like, see, this is what she said. But I guess maybe recently this Tang is like a little bit, like with the way she's giving these non-committal answers, because Dejanay Carrington from earlier posted a tweet, and I have it in my bookmarks here. Yeah, I have it in my freaking, oh my god, dude, what the fuck? Oh my god, Jesus, how can I just be on fire from someone being on fire, man? Dude, like, literally, they were on fire and just attacked me like that. Like, what? Like, what the hell? Oh man, what the hell, man? Anyways, while I'm searching for this tweet, anything other interesting things I could talk about while I'm searching for this tweet? Yeah, I mean, Tree 1, can you come back from Tree 1? Can the Mavs come back in the series and win? I don't know, maybe, but yeah, I wouldn't count on it. What do I think about the Jason Tatum not playing well? I mean, like, come on, I don't know. Like, he's doing other things, man. He might not win Finals MVP, but whatever. Anyways, yeah, like, basically in response to Caitlyn giving that answer that I stated, like, about, like, how do you feel about your name being pushed, how do you feel about your name being used to push these agendas, right? Like, Dejanay Carrington tweeted, "Dog, how one cannot be bothered by their name being used to justify racism, bigotry, misogyny, xenophobia, homophobia, and the intersectionalities of them all." I really like that. It's nuts. We all see the shit. We all have a platform. We all have a choice. We all have a voice, and they all hold weight. Silence is a luxury. Yeah, and like, I absolutely just get what she's saying, man. I absolutely get that, like, with how big Caitlin Clark, is, right? She obviously has a platform. She obviously, with what she says, can influence things, right? Like, every athlete of a certain popularity has that power, right? Like, obviously, right? It's the whole thing. LeBron, could have, spoken up about Hong Kong, but, that was like that's like the one, like, non-basketball related thing people got upset at him over, right? And it's like, yeah, like, obviously every athlete has a platform if you're popular enough, but it's like, I don't know. Like, I agree with, like, her sentiment a lot, right? Where it's like, you should, consider that the fact that you have a platform and the fact that you can absolutely positively impact freaking things if you speak up, right? Really taking it out of basketball, right? It's like everyone has been saying, like, why hasn't Taylor Swift said something about Palestine? And it's like, I don't know, man. it's a whole freaking thing, man. Yeah, like, something similar to that, right? And it's like, I don't know, on Caitlin Clark, right? I don't know, like, my opinion on it is, like, I don't know, I just feel like, does she necessarily need to freaking say something like condemning her like that, right? Does she absolutely need to give more of, like, a hard lined answer of, like, no, I do not condone this, anyone using my name to be racist or misogynistic, I don't support it, right? It's like, I would love, yeah, it would be great if she said that, but on the other hand, like, I don't know, I guess, like, for me, I don't necessarily expect her to freaking be that freaking forward and that freaking, I don't know, pressing about that issue, I don't know. Like, obviously this comes from freaking a bunch of her fan base being, like, from, from a certain part of America, I guess. Like, I don't know, not to, like, characterize it that way, but, like, I would assume there's a non-zero amount of her fan base who are of, a type, like a freaking, like, type, and that's the thing, like, there have been cases of, like, her fans, like, going into Angel Reese's Instagram comments and freaking being extremely mean or rude and absolutely, like, obviously, like, that's like, yeah, that is a thing that has been known, right? But I don't know. It's the whole thing of just like me seeing it practically, right? Like, is her saying anything about that going to make her fan base any less toxic, like any less rabid, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think like those nasty fans are just gonna be like, oh well, Caitlyn told me not to do it. It's like, I don't like I don't know, man. It's like rabid like fans are always good. Yeah, like they're always gonna be like a section of rabid fans that act like that. I don't know. It really is just my opinion, you know, like, I don't know, which is what I hope to freaking give in these things, and not just recap things without any sort of freaking substance. Man, but I don't know. I guess that's like the whole thing, right? Yeah, like I watched an Around the Horn clip. I know what that is now. Of freaking, yeah, it was a David Dennis Jr. saying that like Caitlin Clark has Caitlin Clark like has a moral obligation to speak out on this, right? Like if her fan base is being like misogynistic, homophobic, you know, racist, right? It's like she has an obligation to do it, like we all do, right? Like it's not just her, like we all have an obligation to stand up for injustice, right? Like, you know, but yeah, but that's the thing, a lot of people don't, right? A lot of people freaking don't, and just want to be the type of people of like, I just want to go about my day, you know, and like that's been Caitlin's thing, right? Like her thing is literally just I just want to play basketball, right? And like people have been comparing like her freaking statement to what Paige Beckers has done in the past, right? And like I think like the differences in like what a lot of people on Twitter are saying of Caitlin Clark's fan base versus Paige Beckers' fan base, right? And like I don't know if I mentioned this in an earlier episode, but yeah, I learned from Twitter that Paige Beckers has a black stepmom, right? And that like in her college career she's like opened up like a food pantry in like Minnesota, in her hometown in Minnesota, I think, right? And like, you know, like, yeah, the big thing is that she gave a speech at the ESPYs, right, where she specifically said like, you know, like like sports media tends to, you know, only like highlight black women, only highlight white women, you know, at the expense of black women, right? Where it's like they don't give like black female athletes, you know, enough of a spotlight, right? And like she just wanted to make people aware of that while Paige, you know, a white woman, was winning the award, right? Which is like really cool and just extremely freaking virtuous. But I don't know, man. It's that's the thing. It's like absolutely that should be praised, and like pretty much every freaking person in privilege should act like that and like recognize their own privilege and like, you know, speak out against injustice and do it like very strongly. But I don't know, like the expectation that we should, you know, that everyone should do it, I don't know, man. Like that's the thing, right? It's the whole thing. I saw another tweet where someone like quote tweeted Dejanay, and someone was like, freaking, well, why aren't you going at Sophie Cunningham? She's a freaking literal MAGA supporter. I'm like, that's unconfirmed, by the way. I don't know if that's actually true. But I'm just like, oh man, like I don't know. It's the whole thing. Yeah, like if Caitlin Clark says like anything that is disparaging towards, you know, like of that sort, like if she says anything that is, you know, even minorly, you know, that could be construed as freaking any of those things. Like if she has any negative misstep on what she says, right? Like if she's disrespectful in any way, like she should be called out on it. But I think like I don't think, you know, she should be called out on freaking not having a strong enough stance, you know, like I don't know, I just don't think, you know, but it's like I think it's fine to have that opinion that she should be doing more, but I don't know, I don't think it should be something where you hold it against her, you know, that's the thing. I guess that's my opinion. I don't think you should hold it against her, right, where it's like, yeah, like the fact that she hasn't spoken up on these issues is, you know, troubling. Like I don't think it's troubling. I think it's just, I don't even think it's unfortunate. I think it's just, you know, that's just, you know, I think it's, you know, I think it's, you know, not, you know, necessary, like for me to, you know, enjoy her as a player, you know, like it's not, yeah, that's the thing. I guess that's like my overall thesis on it. But I don't know. Have I talked about Caitlin Clark enough already? I've already freaking reached freaking half an hour, over half an hour. Oh man. Man, this episode. Yeah, is that basically all the stuff on Caitlin Clark? She's a player, man. Just let her freaking be, man. Goddamn. Unless she's does something wrong. Like, I don't think she's too media trained, man. Like, that's the thing. And like, another thing I've been seeing on Twitter is that there are some tweets that have been like, well, yeah, since Twitter likes are now private, right? Where it's like, well, now freaking Caitlin's boyfriend and freaking, Caitlin's boyfriend can like a bunch of racist shit on Twitter now. It's like, okay, all right. okay, all right, man, like her boyfriend and her brother. It's like, dude, why are we extending it to this, man? It's like, guys, like, I don't know, man. It's a thing. Like, that's the stuff where I'm like, okay, now you're just being extremely just like, okay, we do, all right, okay. I don't know. That's another, yeah. I guess like other like stray tots I've had, you know, like it's funny that Paige Beckers, you know, decided to stay another year because, like, I don't know, man, if Paige Beckers, you know, was I don't know, it's probably like, she probably was like, maybe in the back of her mind she's like, I kind of don't want to be in the same draft class as Caitlin Clark, man. I don't know. Oh man. Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, I don't know. Like, like, I don't know. I just don't. Yeah, like, I don't think it should be held against Caitlin Clark that Paige Beckers is a person that wants to be way more outspoken about, you know, social, you know, like, issues, and like wants to be more outspoken on recognizing her privilege. Like, I don't know. It shouldn't like be on. Yeah, like, I don't. Yeah, like, you would like to see it, but I don't know. Like, I don't look anyone differently in a negative way if they don't necessarily do everything they can to recognize their privilege and be like, you know, I don't know. I guess that's me from a privileged position, you know, of being, you know, male. I'm sorry, but I don't know. I've talked about women's basketball way too much for a man, right? Oh man, but that's the thing, is like, what else could I freaking talk about? Like, that's the thing. I could talk about reading The Samurai Turned Pretty. It's like, I finished reading that book, right? The first Samurai Turned Pretty book. Now I can start the Amazon series, but I don't know, man. It's a book. It's a good book. It's, you know, a nice summary book about, you know, a girl named Belly, and she got the name Belly because of freaking jelly beans. Like, really? Like, really? Jenny Han? But I don't know. It's a good book, yeah. I actually enjoyed it. Like, I like it. It seems like on its face like just like, oh, there's a book about just a girl enjoying her summer and like having like two guys. Like, one guy she pines over, another guy's like not freaking, you know, yeah. Like, she goes to a freaking summer home every freaking summer, and like, you know, and like she is fawning over one friggin' older guy, and then like another guy like is maybe pining over her, right, secretly, and it's like, I don't know, it's cool, but like, yeah, near the end there's like something that kind of makes it, recontextualizes it, so it's not just your average like fluffy kind of summer book, you know. It has a tiny bit of a friggin' edge to it, you know, which I like about, you know, Morgan Manson books too, is that it's not you know, usually freaking only freaking summer books with like romance. You know, I was you know, praising the unexpected everything back then, right? Yeah. In some sort of previous episode, man, it was good. But yeah, you know, I enjoy it. I guess that's my mini review of that. So, am I ready to move on to the Twitter segment? Yeah, not yet. But, you know, I still have other things to talk about. Yeah, mainly a video game. Yeah, that I've been freaking excited about. Yeah, that I just recently got excited about. Oh man, there's a series on my channel, you know, that I haven't finished. But yeah, I played a game in this series the full way through. Yeah. The Life is Strange series, man. Oh man, there is going to be a new Life is Strange game coming out this year in October. And I'm obviously gonna play it, and I would assume I'm gonna record it. Hopefully it doesn't take me like a year to finish, but still. I'm going, yeah, it's called Double Exposure, and the fun thing about it is that it has this character that was in the first game, Max Caulfield. Yeah, so like Max is going to return in this freaking game, and the supernatural element is gonna be freaking literal parallel universes. Like, that's what it's gonna be, man. It's gonna be fun, man. I don't know. I'm optimistic that it's gonna be at least like really fun to play, you know. I don't know. And like the fun thing about that is there's been a lot of like interesting like opinions I've seen. Like, I literally just watched like the trailer, or like retweeted, you know, the trailer, like, and then like a bunch of Life is Strange fandom tweets just came into my feed, because that's how algorithms work, right? And like people have been saying like I don't know, there's a bunch of like different like opinions on it. Like, there have been some people saying like that they kind of don't like the way that, you know, Deck 9, you know, the studio that develops Life is Strange now, you know, is like kind of taken over Don't Nod's thing, right? Like the game and series that Don't Nod created, right? And like kind of turned it into a somewhat of a cash cow franchise, right? And like that's like the most surprising thing, right? Like, I don't think I've talked about this before, but like the fact that Life is Strange, or that game series has turned into like somewhat of a cash cow thing, right? It's just one of the most surprising things like in gaming, right? It's like the fact that that game managed to have like it managed to be so popular that it turned into a series with freaking 5 different entries at this point, right? It's like, I don't know, man, that's just really surprising, man. Like it really, the first game really felt not that much different from an indie game. Like, I don't know, like visually, you know, like it felt like it obviously was not the most expensive game to make, right? There were like all these lip syncing issues, right? With it, but like it was charming and heartwarming, and had freaking 2 great characters in Max and Chloe, who may or may not have been romantically involved, right? And it's like, I don't know, like that story and that game have persisted, you know, and probably is the reason why, you know, it's still like a thing. It's still a series and a franchise right now. Like, I don't know, I just find that to be really cool. Yeah. Like, they're kind of lamenting the fact that, like, yeah, so there was a tweet that said, you know, that, like, Life is Strange turned into Don't Nod's passion project, and now it's kind of turning into just a way for Deck 9 to just make a bunch of money, right? And it's like, yeah, I mean, you can see it like that, but I don't know. I think most people would probably be happy that there's just more games in the series, you know? Like me, you know? Like, but for me, like, I was thinking, like, I would have been fine if freaking Life is Strange was just only one game. Like, I don't know. Like, when Before the Storm was announced, was a thing, right? I was like, damn, that's cool. There's gonna be a prequel, and then there was a sequel, Life is Strange 2, right? And then Deck 9, you know, announced that they're making their own full-length freaking game, True Colors, you know. And I got to play that, and that series is on this channel, you know. And like, I don't know, like, I just find it interesting that, you know, it has persisted all this time. Yeah, so look out for that series in the future, later in the year. But it's also interesting that Don't Nod, the original developer of the game, are like making their own kind of story-based freaking game that has a very similar vibe to Life is Strange. It's called, was it Lost Records? Yeah, Lost Records: Bloom and Rage. And like part of it takes place in the 90s, and like it follows like some sort of freaking like Riot Girl band, and then like part of it takes place in the present day, and like it's supposed to be like some sort of mystery with maybe a supernatural element, which is very similar. You know, they're just like, we're gonna make our own game that's, you know, yeah, I think it might, I might have read an interview where they said it takes place in the same universe, like the overall universe, but I don't know, it's weird. Don't Nod basically were like, okay, Deck 9, Life is Strange is basically your thing now, we're just gonna make our own types of games, you know, like Twin Mirror and Tell Me Why, right? Which are other kind of story-based games that like had a similar kind of, wanted to elicit a similar vibe, but I don't know. Like, I played, yeah, the first 2 chapters of Tell Me Why. It's about like, yeah, there's like a trans character in it, which is really cool, and it takes place in Alaska, and then there's a Filipino character in it, which I found to be really cool. I don't know if I could like play it on this channel, but I don't know, I just find that really cool when I did play it. But yeah, I don't know. Like, new Life is Strange game, Double Exposure. It's going to come out in October. Hopefully, I'll play it and put it on this channel. Yeah. So basically, that's basically all I wanted to talk about. Yeah, just all the interesting things, and like also like part of the Life is Strange fandom going crazy over like which ending are they gonna pick, which ending is gonna be canon. And then there's the reveal live stream, which like where was it the director of the game basically said, yeah, the game will respect both endings. You know, there's going to be some like section early on where Max is talking to, was it her friend Safi, who gets killed, and it's a murder mystery. Spoilers. She's talking to her friend Safi early in the game, and like Safi just asks her a bunch of questions, I guess, and that's how it's gonna freaking, you know, that's how it's gonna, I don't know, like the develop, you know, that's how that's gonna be handled, you know. So I don't know. And it's also cool, yeah. Also, like, from that reveal live stream, like Hannah Tell was interviewed by Elise from Funhouse, and like, you know, she talked about, yeah, like just hearing her voice, it's like, damn, she like sounds exactly the same as she did like 9 years ago, man. It's crazy. But like, yeah, for playing Mac, she has to do a different voice, right? And like in the little bit of gameplay, like you just saw like, I don't know, you just saw like how Max has developed as a character, you know, from the first game, and that's like, I don't know, it's pretty damn cool. Just like her voice being like, you know, a bit deeper and different, like, I don't know, man. It's going to be cool, man. I'm going to freaking play it and enjoy it, man. I don't know. It's probably, I don't think it's gonna be a game of the year thing, but it's going to be one of the games I play in the year. You know, it's gonna be a game I play in the year. So yeah. Oh man, I got past talking about those two things pretty quickly. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I can move on to the Twitter segment now. Is there anything else I want to talk about? Songs I've been into. Yeah, I didn't talk about this last time. I've been really into the song Semi-Charmed Life by Third Eye Blind. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a really freaking good song, man. One of the best songs of the 90s. Just, yeah. Also, yeah, the first half of the first album, you know, is it Losing a Whole Year? Like, really good song. Graduate, really good song. Yeah, so I guess, yeah. And then I've been listening to Santa Gold's first album, Creator, is a really good song. Les Artistes is the first track. That's really good. I don't know, man. Yeah, interesting how like Santa Gold is kind of, you know, like an indie pop kind of thing, you know, but like she was like one of the very few women, like black women, like probably one of the only like black woman like making that kind of music like in the 2000s. I don't know, I just find it interesting how like they don't really, she doesn't really get put in like the scene with like yeahs or dirty projectors or like that kind of, you know, like scene in New York City. Like I think she's from New York City, but I don't know, it's interesting. I find a lot of things interesting, as you may have freaking heard. Oh man, anything like closing, man. I don't know. Is the series gonna end Monday night? Hopefully it does, man. Please. Please, man. Or else the title I'm gonna pick for this episode that I'm thinking of using for this episode is just gonna be All for Naught, man. It's like, come on, man. Please, Boston, just win this game. Win this one game, man. You know, it doesn't matter if Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum's the best player. You just need to win this freaking game, man. just win the game. Raise banner 18. Like that's all you need to do, man. Oh man, Jason Kidd just being like, well, Jalen's their best player. Oh man, the second funniest thing next to friggin' Brian Windhorst. Yeah, the third funniest thing next to friggin' someone on some show being like Mavs in 5. It's like, okay, man, all right, thanks. Oh man. Yeah, I guess I need to get to the Twitter segment quickly. So here is going to be the Twitter segment. All right, first tweet we have here. I'm all for the streaming sites for fights, but if you throw a fight party, you gotta order the fight, man. Buffering in front of the hose is crazy. Oh man, yeah, I don't know. Is this an excuse for me to talk about boxing, man? Did I talk about just what has been going on with Ryan Garcia recently? Like, did I talk about that? Did I talk about frickin' him? Yeah, I think that just completely slipped. That's just one of those things where I forgot to talk about it. I forgot to talk about him fighting Devin Haney, and the build up to it was just a lot of just crazy freaking stuff, a lot of freaking like Zoomer kind of Twitch streamer freaking energy to it, right? Like that, like I don't know, man, like I don't know, like yeah, like was it Kai Cenat energy to it, right? And it's like, yeah, Ryan. So I guess if I didn't talk about it before, yeah, Ryan Garcia missed weight by 3 pounds. He came in 3 pounds overweight to the weigh-in, which meant that the fight couldn't be for the 140 title, right? It couldn't be for that. So that wasn't on the line. Devin Haney could not win the title no matter what. Or no, Devin Haney was going to keep the title no matter what, right? So Ryan Garcia comes in 3 pounds overweight, downs a beer afterwards or something, right? And then the night of the fight, freaking Ryan Garcia proceeds to freaking beat Devin Haney up, right? Like he knocked him down like what 3-4 times, right? He won by unanimous decision, right? And then it comes out a week or so later, right? Or it's like, a test came back positive, a drug test came back positive. He has Osterine in his body, and then he proceeds to just tweet up a freaking storm of like, yeah, I did it, whatever. Like he literally just like, his Twitter and Instagram presence is just like shit posting. Like it's like, I don't know, man. It's like I really haven't been that familiar with Ryan Garcia. I think I talked about him fighting Gervonta Davis in the body shot, knocking him out, hopefully. I don't know. It happened on the same night as Lakers-Grizzlies Game 6. I know that. Last year. So, I don't know. Or no, like Game 4. Yeah, Game 4. But, like, I don't know. Do I have an opinion on, like, that whole thing in general, man? It's like, dude, like, what? I don't know. Like, Ryan Garcia, like, he's not an influencer boxer. Like, his boxing, like, skill is not of that level. But, like, everything he does basically is just, like, he just acts like a like I don't know, man. I don't know what's been going on. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know. Like he could potentially be suspended from like boxing for a while because of this, because he ended up like cheating on that, right? And it's like I don't understand like why, like when I was like seeing the reaction on Twitter, the fact that him coming in 3 pounds overweight wasn't just more of a red flag, right? To some people, like it's like, yeah, cool, he did beat him, but it's like, he came in 3 pounds over. Like, why the hell was no one freaking making a fuss over that? Like, why the hell was everyone just like, oh man, Devin Haney sucks. Oh, like, look at like Ryan Garcia's the people's shit. It's like, what? He literally freaking came in 3 pounds overweight. Like, I don't know, man. Like, that to me is just like, why don't you freaking beat him freaking making the actual weight so you can actually win the title? Isn't that what you want as a boxer, is to win the freaking title? It's like, I don't know, man. Just weird. I don't know. But yeah, legally streaming freaking fights, man. I had a thing where, yeah, I don't know, like the existence of these sites is just so easy. All you have to do is type in the name of a site and it immediately takes you, like, it lists all of like the freaking different sporting events. It's pretty easy. All you have to do is type in one freaking thing, to be honest. Just like if you want to watch anime, like you just have to type in, free anime. Like that's all you have to do, man. Like, I don't know. It's the whole thing. Yeah, there's this whole like thing that like, was it like Gen Z doesn't know how to torrent, and torrenting is different from pirating. Yeah, torrenting is when you get like the files of like a show and like download them, I don't know if, yeah, I guess like, I guess talking about torrenting, I think I did that a little. I paid for, was it a month subscription to Mega NZ, like it's this like file sharing service, and then I bookmarked a tweet that just said like, here's the entire freaking series of Daria with all the original music on the episodes, and I'm like, yeah, I'm freaking downloading that. True. And I don't know, I guess like if I'm admitting to torrenting, I did torrent that. I don't know, it is on, like, it was like in a tweet. But like, I don't know, but like, am I gonna get in trouble for torrenting Daria, like a 20 over 20-year-old series, right? Like, I need, like, come on, man. that's the whole thing. Like, they really wanted to include the licensed music too, but they couldn't do it, right? Yeah, because there were just so many songs. Like, if you look and like Daria, like the episodes, right, and like the amount of songs per episode, like they had like Fiona Apple on there, they had Garbage on there, they had freaking Will Smith, they had the song Getting Jiggy with It on one episode. Like, I don't know, they had freaking music. They had music by, was it Filter? They had music by Foo Fighters. Like, they had freaking songs on that series, man, that I didn't know. And obviously, like, Daria, I speak highly of it whenever I talk about it. It's one of my favorite freaking shows, things of all time, right? You know, but I don't know. I guess that's the illegally streaming freaking thing, you know. Yeah, I guess it is a thing where it's you're at a watch party and it's buffering, man. I don't know. Just found that really funny. Another interesting tweet here. People with no character development should scare you, because how are you the same person you were 3 years ago with no growth or elevation of mindset? Character development. Yeah, maybe that's what's gonna happen with Caitlin Clark, man. Hopefully there's positive character development. I don't know. Well, hopefully, I mean, it's not necessarily her that needs the development, it's her fan base, right? But it's like, I don't know. Hopefully there's some positive character development in the people talking about women's basketball, but I don't know, man. I guess it's going to be messy for a while, you know, like, you know, that's also it. Yeah, I guess if I want to bring it back, yeah, I guess if I want to use this as a springboard, I guess, to talk about women's basketball for a little bit, you know, all thing. Yeah, one thing I didn't bring up, when I was talking about it, was that it's also like talking about the WNBA is so interesting because, you know, the women acknowledge it, but like the people into the WNBA acknowledge it, but like the WNBA, like on its face, is a league mostly made up of black women, right? And like a good like amount of the black women are also queer women too, right? Like it's like there is like a very like significant portion of the WNBA that's made up of queer women, right? So like it also, like, if you want to like examine it sociologically, right, where I'm kind of more interested in examining it from that angle based on what I'm studying right now, but it's like, yeah, like it's interesting, you know, talking about the WNBA like from a sociological perspective, because there's all these intersectionalities, you know, as Dejanay Carrington tweeted, right? Like, you know, the men talking about it don't really see that, but you know, it's the whole like the women who are like following the league and like understand the league understand that, you know, and it's like, I don't know. I think it just goes to the larger point that men aren't really equipped to freaking, you know, handle that per se, right? They're, you know, I don't know, it's just hard covering, you know, I guess it's just harder for some people, you know, not to say that like men can't do it, you know. Hopefully, like, I want to talk about women's basketball and the WNBA more, right? Like, and like as I watch more games, I will have like more to talk about, and as I learn more about, you know, players and freaking the stories of freaking players and teams and league and the whole league in general, right? Hopefully I'm gonna have more to say, right? I just saw a game between the Aces and the Liberty. The Aces are like 6-6 so far on the season, right? And like their quest for a three-peat is kind of like stalled a bit. Like it's like their season's kind of running into mud. Like that's partly due to them not having Chelsea Gray, their starting point guard, one of the best point guards in the WNBA, right? Like, and it's also, yeah, I guess maybe it might be fatigue, but I don't know. Like Asia Wilson herself gave a really interesting comment in a press conference. Yeah, she was like tearing up while like saying it. She was like, I know, like, you know, like you see me as like you're like I'm the best player in the world, but like to me, like I don't only want to be the best player, I want to be the best person, I want to be the best teammate. Like I want to, you know, like be the best person so I can like help my team, because that's how I help my team win, by being like, you know, a leader and an example. And I don't know, I just found it really cool. Like, yeah, she really should be the face of the league. She really should be talked about more, especially with like the crazy insane level of play she's been having, right? She scored like what, 30 points, like, yeah, like over like 25 points, like has a streak of like over, yeah, that many points in like 10 rebounds in like what, 6 games or so. Yeah, I don't know, But like, yeah, taking it to character development, how I feel like it should be, hopefully it should be a bit clearer how I've developed. One of the developments was getting into basketball. It's weird like thinking about it, but like, yeah, the ways I've had character development is getting into basketball. Like another sense of character development I've talked about when I was like 16 was getting into reading young adult novels, right? It's interesting how each like little element of me as a person has been like I can trace it back to like getting into those things. I don't know. And like, yeah, I think like me starting to freaking, I don't know, like somewhat care about my health. I think that started in like 2021. I don't know. I got a bit I'm trying to care about my health more. That's just one another sign of character development. I don't know. I guess like personally, like, I don't know, I've been trying to freaking, I don't know, maybe not be in as much of a shell, as I once was. I don't know, yeah, and part of that, yeah, is expressed through like me going to concerts. Like I'm open to freaking meeting people, man. I'm open to freaking going out places and meeting people. I remember there was an episode I talked about where I was like, like I was talking about me, freaking wanting to write more, and like maybe that is at the expense of freaking going out and doing stuff, right? But like, I don't know, I don't think I necessarily see it as that much of like it's only one thing or the other, because right now I'm actually not writing that much. But like I'm going to, yeah, true, hopefully I'm gonna get back to it in the next like few days or like the next week or so, right? Just trying to write like semi-regularly. It's always like at the beginning of the summer I don't write as much, due to reasons. I'm just like, I need to see how these finals play out, man. I need to see the NBA finals play out, and the team that should win, which is obviously the team that should have more championships than the Lakers. But it's fine, man. It's fine. Those are like the small subtle ways I've like had like character development over the past 3 years. Getting into basketball, being more open as to what I read. Like I got a book on eBay. Yeah, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. It's like this book about two people who, yeah, it's an adult romance book actually. Interesting. And I read Part Girlfriend earlier. I talked about that book on the last episode, and this one is about two people who form a romance through video games. Like, I don't know, seems interesting, man. I have not seen that much discussion about it on Twitter, so I'm just gonna assume that that's a really, really good sign. So yeah, anyways, those are the ways I've had a tiny bit of character development over the past 3 years, and hopefully more, man. Also, elevation of mindset, yeah, I guess my mindset is somewhat elevated. I'm like, books, that outside of YA, they also can be good too, like middle grade books and, other stuff. The book I'm reading right now, yeah, I think I'm gonna be done with it the next time I read it. I just read like half of it and just started it today. Yeah, it's a graphic novel called Frizzy by Claribel Ortega, who also wrote the Witchlings series of books, right? And it's about this Dominican girl who has really frizzy hair, but her mom wants it to keep it straight, right? And like the effects of that, and like the whole, that whole thing, So anyways, that's basically what I have to say about that tweet. I guess this is the time where I just go around and freaking just see what I can come up with. Hopefully, I'll edit just any awkward spaces. But yeah, Dexter Manning, an important person, a semi-important person, in my freaking childhood to early adolescence, tweeted this image, man. I'll post it up on screen. He said, "Time flies, man. It really does, man. It really freaking does, man. I've been checking on just the stuff that is turned like 10 years old, man. I don't know, man. Just 2014, man. Look, if I am gonna make a return to writing on a blog, that I still have, like, I have an idea for like a thing I want to write about, yeah, which is just, I don't know, the concept of 2014 being 10 years ago. I'll leave it at that, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess more tweets to talk about. Someone posted a picture of a tweet. These child-free people. Yeah, I'm sorry this offends you and your F trophies, but there really needs to be more child-free restaurants and bars. And I'm like, yeah, bars aren't child free by default. It's like, look, man, if children get in there, I mean, it's just because friggin' the bouncers are just dumb. This is because you friggin' fell for a fake ID. I mean, like, I don't know. And like restaurants, like children being in Chili's, like that you can't have a family dinner. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, what restaurants, man? I don't know, man. Oh man. Oh man, there's updates on Jimmy Carter, man. Please, man. I hope he lives until October at least, man. We skipped summer and went straight to hell. It's so effing hot, OMG. Oh man, Ryan Garcia. There's a tweet by him. Yeah, Gervonta Davis got another KO win against Frank Martin, and like Ryan Garcia was like talking to him after the fight. The whole Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Shakur Stevenson triangle is interesting, man. It seems that like they all hate each other. Like they all just friggin' do not like each other and are just like like each one of them thinks they can beat the other easily, right? Like Shakur, yeah, like I think like Shakur probably is more closer to fighting Gervonta Davis than Devin Haney is, but I don't know, man. It's the whole thing. It's basically, yeah, like the 135, 140 division, man. It's stacked, man. The same way it was in like 2010 or 2011. I don't believe men mature later than women. I believe they're just allowed to be more immature and have less judgment imposed on them for longer than women. Case in point, that freaking image brought up earlier, man. I don't know, man. I just think about like I'm approaching the same age that a bunch of them were, right, in that time, 2014, and I'm like, damn, I don't know, man. It's like like I don't know, man. Like the difference between millennials being in their early 20s, like 21, 2, 3, 4, versus Gen Z being in their early 20s, it just feels so different, man. I don't know, man. It really feels so different. Just the way they act, man. I don't know, man. where the Gen Z young people that act like how young people were as millennials, man. I don't know. WNBA players not actually ready to face everything the NBA players do online daily is what this season been showing us, by the way. And then someone quote tweeted, "Y'all not ready for a league of people who don't fall in line. That's the real tea." Oh man, yeah. I mean, David Benavidez will now have to choose between his WBC mandatory positions. Yeah, Benavidez holds WBC interim belts at both super middleweight and light heavyweight, but must decide if he's going to continue to pursue Canelo Alvarez, who's at 168, yeah, undisputed at 168, or target the Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol winner, which is going to be undisputed at light heavyweight, yeah, 175. And yeah, like David Benavidez, yeah, with the recent fight that happened tonight, has a belt at 175, the WBC interim belt, and it's like, I don't know, man. It's interesting, like if Benavidez ends up beating Bivol, and then like could I don't know, man. But it seems like I don't know. It's weird how like the Canelo versus Benavidez fight hasn't happened yet. Like it feels like Benavidez has been pursuing it, but I don't know like if Canelo is he might not be ducking, but I don't know. It's weird. Anything else? Any other freaking tweets, man? Yeah, I don't know. There was a tweet about like the script of the freaking NBA finals and the Stanley Cup finals being the same. Yeah, the up trio, think you're gonna sweep, and then freaking the team down trio freaking wins game 4 in a big way. I don't know. Please, man, please have it ended up being right freaking in the correct way. Oh man, tricep tightness is Dodger speak for he's dead. Oh man, anything else, man? Oh man. A woman was caught trying to smuggle 350 Switch game cards in her bra. God forbid women do anything. Dude, 350, man? Damn, I wonder if some of them were Pokemon. Oh man, hopefully. Yeah, I've been thinking of just getting a Switch for so long, but it's like, I don't know, it literally would just only be to play Pokemon and like maybe Breath of the Wild or the Zelda game. I don't know. Oh man, black folks are not gonna like this, but in my opinion it's parents that owe children and not the other way around. yeah, I mean basically. I mean, I don't know, a lot of, yeah, parents do owe freaking children a lot, yeah, the same way freaking, but they're, I don't know. children do owe parents like a bit, but I don't know. There's been examination of the phrase "nobody owes you anything," right? And how people have been using that phrase to be really mean, and like, you know, and like there's more people being anti that phrase of just like the whoever came up with the phrase like "nobody owes you anything" is like really dumb or something related to that, you know. Oh man, yeah. Do I owe frickin' a longer and better Twitter segment each episode? Probably not, but I don't know. I try each and every frickin' time. Oh man. U.S. audio engineers will use male to female connectors and then get mad when there's a male to female in the studio. What? Hello? Oh man. Anything else before I freaking go? Anything, any last minute thing? You know? I mean, yeah, the NBA Finals haven't really been that much to freaking talk about, really. Like, I don't know. It was just kind of annoying, man. It still could get really annoying if freaking it goes on longer, though. But I don't know. Hopefully, it doesn't, you know. I really wanted to get this freaking, to record this episode freaking when the finals were over. But, you know, what can you do, man? The WNBA stuff, the discourse is gonna continue to get annoying. It's like, that's just, you know, how it's gonna go, man. But hopefully, you know, I think just the rule of thumb is just like, listen to the people who actually know stuff, right? Like if you want to learn more about women's basketball, you know, listen to the Dunker Spot. Yeah, that's the one recommendation I have. Literally listen to the Dunker Spot with Nikias Duncan and Steve Jones Jr. because that is just like, it literally, like, if you want to talk about the stuff that's like just basketball, they literally talk about stuff that's just basketball, man. Like, they don't go about freaking anything freaking other than that. It's purely X's and O's. They talk about players, coaches, teams. They just talk about freaking the X's and O's of it, the basketball of it, you know? And I know that, like, obviously that's just not what freaking everyone is going to be into, right? Like, I don't know. Like, for me, like, a lot of why I'm into basketball and, like, a bit of sports in general is because of, like, the narrative aspect of it. I really like the story aspect of it and how you can tell a story. Like the story of how the Celtics got to this point is, like, really interesting to me. And, like, a lot of the reason why I want them to win this championship, right? It's like, I like the story of freaking, you know, like, trading away freaking, you know, yeah, like Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, which ended up turning into Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and freaking like having to trade away Marcus Smart, you know, in order to get Porzingis, and freaking getting Drew Holiday, and freaking just like them, you know, being unfairly judged over their past, and hopefully they're gonna prove people wrong, right? It's like, I don't know, like, I really just love like the storytelling aspect of it. But, you know, Steve Jones Jr. and Nikias Duncan, like, they do a really freaking good job, man. I only just got into that podcast recently, but, like, I don't know, I've been listening to more of the WNBA stuff than the NBA stuff, because they also talk about the NBA. But, like, if you only care about the WNBA stuff, literally just skip to when they talk about it, because they freaking talk about it in depth, man. They talk about players, they talk about teams, they just know the WNBA inside and out, it seems, you know. And like Nikias Duncan is literally like is in a bunch of Aces press conferences, like asking Becky Hammon all these freaking in-depth questions, right? It's really cool, man. I don't know, if that's one freaking piece of advice I have for anyone, you know, like me, who just wants to learn more about women's basketball in a genuine freaking way, and not just like only talk about Caitlin Clark. That's the way to go, man, you know. And also just like, you know, learn the history of the freaking league, you know, just learn a bit of things, you know, maybe learn a thing or two about Candace Parker, learn a thing or two about Diana Taurasi. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know if there are documentaries out there, you know, but I don't know, a grazing of Wikipedia wouldn't hurt, you know, and just, you know, it wouldn't, I don't know. Just, you know, hopefully I'll be, you know, more in tune and informed, you know, and hopefully I can talk about it more, you know, because it'll be NBA stuff, WNBA stuff, YA books, and then like whatever freaking comes up, man. I don't know. Publishing drama hasn't come up in a while, man. I don't know. I think it's fine, man. Like, I don't know. We can take a break from that, you know. I'll fill it in with something else, man. So anyways, I think that's basically gonna be it for this episode. Yeah. Oh man, I went on for a bit, didn't I? Yeah, I guess this episode can be over an hour, since the last episode was under an hour. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will get an episode out maybe shortly after freaking a champion is crowned. Hopefully, man. I don't know, man. Hopefully I don't sound too anxious, man. I'm a tiny bit anxious, but I don't know. I have confidence, man. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I'll get to whatever I missed in future episodes. Thank you, yeah, for the freaking fourth time. See you on the next episode.